I'm Justin McCauley reporting live from Central Office here at Tusky Valley High School with Superintendent Mr. Murphy.
Hi, Justin.
How are you doing tonight, Mr. Murphy?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me and inviting me to my office.
Yes. Thank you for letting us come to your office.
Absolutely.
All right, so we have a couple questions for you about the meeting Thursday.
Okay.
Just some concerns that we've heard, and just also for things that parents and students that can't actually come.
Sure.
All right, so our first question is, what changes will be made to the start and end time for the schedule for the 2018 school year?
So as we look forward to the 2017-2018 school year, we are looking to adjust our start time and end time for the entire district. Right now, of course, our elementary schools function on a separate start time than our middle school and high school. Middle school and high school start time is 7:30, elementary start time is 9. And we are going to be looking at adjusting that from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. So district-wide, whether you're a kindergartner or a senior in Tusky Valley local schools, regardless of the building that you attend, it will be a start time of 8 a.m. and a dismissal time of 3 p.m. And that first day would be August 23rd. First day of school is Wednesday, August 23rd, so that's when we would kick that off.
All right. So now that you're saying everybody's going to be starting and ending at the same time, how would that affect busing?
Busing is definitely impacted. I met with the bus drivers this past week, and we're very, very excited to get this started. It is a change. Right now, we are operating, as all of our parents and families and students know, we run what's called a double route transportation system. So we send our buses out from the bus garage. They pick up middle school and high school students, grades 5 through 12. For those that are riding the bus, and then they bring those students into the schools, to the middle school and high school. Our buses sit and lay over for a little bit at our bus garage, and then they go out again, and they cover the district, and they pick up our kindergarten through 4th grade students and bring them back to New Cumberland, Mineral City, and Bolivar, and then we run a shuttle to the intermediate school and primary school. So we would basically be eliminating the double route transportation system and going with a single route transportation system to accommodate a start time of 8 a.m. and end time of 3 p.m. So busing will look different. We still will function with 18 school buses, 18 regular drivers. The biggest adjustment though is that you will see less mileage. I mean, we're basically nearly cutting the mileage in half. And what we've been noticing, Justin, Mr. Spillman, our transportation supervisor, our building principals, and I, we've been watching and monitoring our transportation system. And here's what's happened for a variety of reasons. Number one, we have less students in our schools today than we did, for instance, 12 years ago when I started. We have about 1,420 students, K through 12, that are attending our schools. So we have less students that are in school and less students than riding the bus. So less enrollment. The other thing is more and more students, for whatever reason, are driving to school, being transported by parents or grandparents, aunts and uncles, to and from school. So again, less students on the bus. Well, what does that mean? That means we're sending 18 buses all over 95 square miles of property every single day. We travel over 1,500 miles every single day with 18 buses, and that's just the day-to-day operations. That does not include field trips. That does not include extracurricular activities and those kinds of things, or athletics, band, outside travel. So just think about that. Day-to-day, on a day-to-day basis, we spend over $1 million, which is almost 8% of our entire operating budget, traveling 1,500 miles every single day. That's similar to us getting in a car, or getting on a school bus, if you will, and driving from Tusky Valley beyond Myrtle Beach and back every single day. Over $1 million. So what we're finding is we've got 18 buses running out there that may or may not be loaded to capacity. And I'm not talking about, we know that a bus can hold 72 kids. We're not advocating that we cram a bus full of 72 kids, because that's not practical and it's not realistic. It could be done, but that's not what we're after. But I'll tell you what, like I've shared with our staff and our bus drivers, and like I shared with our families on Thursday night, I would be thrilled if we had 40 to 50, 55 students on a school bus, because our taxpayers are paying $1 million plus for transportation services. We need to maximize the capacity of our school buses. The other wonderful impact about adjusting to an 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Start and end time is the educational benefit. Our elementary students in grades K through 4 at primary and intermediate school, they will gain about 45 minutes of instruction, teaching and learning time every single day with this model. And the reason for that is right now, you could ask any of our specials teachers at the elementary level or any of our teachers or staff members at elementary, we spend about 40 to 45 minutes every single day managing bus dismissal. Literally, managing bus dismissal. That is a colossal waste of time. And it's no one's fault. We just know that this is not the best use of our time. It's not efficient. It's not educationally practical. So if we can tighten up and streamline and become more efficient and do what's best educationally, that's a win-win. It's an adjustment and it's a change, but it will be well worth it. Yeah, great question. Thank you.
Now, with the after-school activities, like for example, I'm in band and we do like youth to youth and other organizations like that where it takes place right after school, and most of them end at 4:30. Are all of those going to be pushed back?
I would think that my guess would be that we would probably keep those until 4:30 or about 4:30, and we would still. All of that's grant funded. Most of that is grant funded, and we're in the process of writing that grant again for the 21st Century Grant. So our hope would be that we still run transportation to get students home at that 4:30 time, or board the bus and then send out those buses like we normally do now. If we need to push it back, it would just be pushed back a little bit. I really don't think we would push that back further. The end time of 3 p.m. would not adversely impact anything extracurricular-wise or in terms of travel to extracurricular events, whether that's band or athletics. I think we would be good with that. Really, we're only pushing that off. When you think about middle school and high school now, the day ends at 2:40, 2:45. All buses are gone by 2:55 from the high school. Really, at this point with this change, by 3:05, the majority of students between middle school and high school will be on buses or in vehicles and on their way home or to their next destination.
All right. Our final question with the school start time and end time, how much money do you think the school district will save with the busing changes?
Great question. Very conservatively, Mr. Phillips, our treasurer, and I have calculated that we would be saving about $100,000 a year, and that's very conservatively. Our hope is that it would be much more than that, and it may be. It's kind of hard to determine, but where we would recognize our greatest savings would be in fuel consumption. Imagine 18 school buses traveling 1,500 miles a day and providing the fuel, the tires, the maintenance, the oil changes, not to mention the personnel to make that all happen. So when we can cut that fuel consumption significantly, that saves a lot of money. And then we also, hopefully, our goal then is to extend the life of our school buses. Yeah. Right now, when you think about it, we are sending our school buses out 4 times a day to travel over 95 square miles. Now we can send them out twice a day and cover that 95 square miles. So we believe we would be reducing, going from about 1,500 miles a day to about 850 miles a day. So that's a significant drop in mileage, and that's where we would recognize the greatest savings.
All right, Mr. Murphy, walk us through being a student here and then riding the bus differently. Like, how is that going to influence?
Sure. In other words, what would that look like if you're a first grader or a ninth grader? Yeah. Okay, good. So from the student perspective or from the parent perspective, here's how that will work. All of our students in grades K through 12, unless you're driving to school as a junior or senior, which most of our juniors and seniors drive to school from my observation, or they get rides to school. But anyway, so mostly K through 10 students, mostly. Buses will go out, they'll leave our bus garage first thing in the morning, they will go out and they will pick up grades K through 10 at one time. They will bring in those students to what we call our home school. So for instance, Justin, I believe your home school would be our intermediate school. Okay. If that were your home school, elementary school, it would be intermediate. So we would be picking up Justin McCauley and anyone else, K through 10 or K through 12, get you into the intermediate school. If you're a second, third, or fourth grader, you'll get off the bus and you'll go into the intermediate school. If you're coming into the high school or middle school, you may stay on that same bus, and it will transport you directly then to the middle school and high school, like we have our shuttles right now. Or you may get off that bus, go on to a different bus to get you to your designated building, depending on the grade that you're in. So the beauty of it is, the buses go out, they pick up our K through 12 students, they bring them into the home school. If you go to that school, you get off the bus and you go in that building. If you go to a different building, then you either stay on the bus or you get off the bus, get on a different one, and shuttle, which we are doing now. And then you arrive to your designated building by 7:50. And then the start time is 8 a.m. So students still have the opportunity, if they'd like, they can get breakfast, they can do all those things. I know that Mrs. Flickinger and our building principals will definitely ensure that breakfast is available in all 4 of our schools. Yep. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yep.
So transitioning from the school start time and end time, now we're going to look at like district facilities, and another big point you were talking about for the meeting. What is the district's vision for the future of our facilities?
Wow. There's so much to take a look at here. Obviously, we've got 4 buildings, Justin, K through 12. We are looking to partner with, once again, we're looking to partner with the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, as well as the Board of Education would look at securing an architect to work together in doing a complete, comprehensive assessment of our district facilities. And that's one of the things that we put out in our district satisfaction survey last fall, in November of 2016. And the response was fantastic. The response was, yes, Mr. Murphy, we support the district's vision to do a comprehensive assessment of our district facilities. And then to be able to look at options about what do we do. Obviously, we've got some aging facilities. Our newest building is the middle school. Middle school is about 20 years old, in great shape. We're trying to take good care of her, trying to take care of all of our facilities. But we also have a great opportunity, potentially, with the Rover Pipeline. And I'm sure that our students and our families, parents, those that are out and about on the road, they've probably begun to see signs that say, approved Rover Pipeline access. Well, a couple years ago when Mr. Phillips, our treasurer, said, you know what, Mr. Murphy, I think we should pay close attention to this Rover Pipeline because the district could be impacted by that in a positive way. The district could receive utility tax revenue from that Rover Pipeline. And I thought, you know what, I'll believe that when I see it. Thanks for sharing. Just keep us updated, but we've got other things to be concerned about. I'll believe it when I see it. So it's happening. It is happening. And so what we want to do is to position our school district to be ready. If this does happen, if we can receive utility tax revenue from the Rover Pipeline, this is not taxing our residents. If we can receive tax revenue from the utility taxes of Rover Pipeline and target that revenue, if you will, for facilities in Tuscaloosa Valley Local Schools, we want to be positioned and ready to do that. What does that mean? That means as tax-paying citizens, your parents or those that are 18 and older that reside and can vote in our community, we would be looking at this opportunity potentially to upgrade, renovate, or new construction for Tusky Valley Local Schools without asking the taxpayers for anything.